My name is Chris Bockrath. I graduated from Conshohocken High School in 1966. I've been teaching and coaching for 24 years. I'm now at a new combined Catholic high school called Kenrick Catholic High School, where I teach science and I coach football. I played football at Conshohocken High School in 1965, which was their last season. Conchi High School closed in 1966 according to that School Consolidation Act. We were the last graduating class in '66. Well, at one time the Conshohocken program reflected the community, which is a very proud community, a lot of tradition. It's a pretty tough program. The last couple of years, as the enrollment dwindled off and dropped, I think we were 7th through 12th grade. We were probably somewhere in the area of 300 students total. And the last couple of years of the program, our numbers dropped noticeably, although we were competitive. The last year was probably, my senior year was probably the one year we really weren't as competitive as we had been in some other years, but we tried to play in the same pride and tradition as those teams that had played before us.
Following graduation from Conshohocken High School, Chris attended Delaware Valley College. There, he lettered in 3 sports and earned a Bachelor of Science degree in the food industry. Starting in 1974, Chris began a 21-year run as a high school football coach, first at the former Archbishop Kennedy and then at former Kenrick High Schools. It's a career that will be remembered for generations to come. Chris certainly loved his family, his wife Joanne, son Chris, and daughter Melissa, but he also loved football. Fortunately, Joanne, Chris, and Melissa understood his passion and played supporting roles in what grew to be a huge football family. During his 21 years of coaching, Chris helped develop young boys into men and football players into solid citizens. As a disciplinarian at Archbishop Kennedy High School, he had one set of rules for the student body and another set of rules for athletes, especially his football players. Chris held them to a higher standard. He taught them respect for each other and themselves. He built character and confidence in his team, his entire team. For Chris, the second and third string players sitting at the end of the bench were just as important as his starting players. Chris Bockrath was a great communicator. He connected with people deeply. He loved people. When he talked with you, you felt he truly cared about you. He could praise you with brimming enthusiasm and advise you as if he had known you all his life. He could boost your spirit and make you feel important. That was the impression Chris made.
Got a ball. That's the game. That's the game. Kennedy saved. Small. Kenrick 6. Great game, great win. Number 100 for Chris Bockrath. Number 100. Great way to go. For Chris Bockrath, number 100.
Chris's 100th victory was a nail-biter. Archbishop Kennedy defeated Bishop Kenrick by only 3 points. For Chris, it was a victory for all his teams and all the players who ever wore the uniform. He shared that victory with every coach who had walked the sideline, scouted a game, and stood atop of the A-field press box in freezing weather for him. And he shared that victory with every fan who ever sat in the bleachers in both victory and defeat. Chris truly loved football. He shared his team's glorious accomplishments. His Kennedy teams recorded undefeated seasons in the early 1980s. He won bicentennial championships year after year. When he became coach at Kenrick, his teams continued having championship seasons. Whenever Chris came out of the locker room onto the field, no one in the stadium showed more pride for his team, and no one wanted to win more than Bockrath. But winning wasn't everything. Chris looked for the unlikely hero each and every game. He wanted to give the kid at the end of the bench a chance to grow into manhood, one game at a time. It was because of these values that Chris made his teams feel like winners, even when they finished with a losing record. Win or lose, he'd come to the annual banquet and praise every player's success and their accomplishments as a team.
I think the sport can instill a lot of good values into the players, regardless of the sport. I happen to coach football, so I try and build them into our program. I think the game is a lot more than just winning and losing. Granted, you're going to waste a lot of valuable time if winning and losing isn't important in terms of practice, but certainly that's not been our overall emphasis in the program. Coming out and working hard, setting goals and working hard to achieve those goals, going through the trials and the tribulations of attainment, finding your limits and then establishing new limits, trying to be the best you can be every time you go out. There's so many carryover things from sports that can help people be successful in the real world, that truly they're the values that I look for our kids, and whether it was 1970 or 1990, we still look for our kids to come away with those same things. You know, you learn to go the extra mile. You learn to do more than what was asked. You learn to give more than you have sometimes. If our kids can go away from our program and they're a little richer for that experience, they're a little more in touch with themselves and a little more confident, they believe in themselves a little more, they're better Christian gentlemen as a result of, you know, the religious contacts we've had as well, then I feel, hey, job well done. They're better Christian gentlemen as a result of, you know, the religious contacts we've had as well, then I feel, hey, job well done.
I'd like to say three things, as I typically do to all our seniors, and perhaps to all of our players that just turned out to be our last time together. Number one, whatever road in life you take, always go the extra mile. I hope this program has taught you that. Number two, whatever you eventually become in life, make sure it includes being a Christian gentleman. I hope the school has taught you that. And three, whatever task you tackle in life, do it with same pride and always very strong. I hope your parents and I have taught you that. Thank you very much.